Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another great episode of Bahrain Now, your source of local initiatives, happenings, talents, and trends. I'm your host, Bara Abdallah, here to walk you through our exciting lineup of segments and personalities from around Bahrain. So don't go away, we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, Ahmed Strength and Conditioning is a Bahraini-based facility helping clients to reach their optimal physical, mental potential and achieve their health goals, no matter their circumstances. So, ladies and gentlemen, with us right here is Ahmed himself. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. So, a little bit about yourself, let us know.
So, I originally was a mechanical engineer.
Okay.
So that's what I studied in university. Then from there, after a few years of working in the industry, I was like, nope, not interested. I decided to shift to the fitness industry, did that kind of part-time until I created like a sustainable living for myself.
Okay.
And then from there moved full-time to that.
Amazing. Okay, wow. You said it very casually. It's like,
Yeah.
I used to be a mechanical engineer, but all the way to fitness. But what happened in the middle? It's like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, the shift, because, when people say, I used to be an athlete, now I became a fitness trainer, but the thing is from mechanical engineer to the fitness industry. So what made you make that leap?
That's a good point, actually. So it was mainly because I didn't know what to do in university. So I was like, hey, I'm just going to do what I was good at in school,
That's
which is
so true.
math and physics.
Right.
I was good at sports, but that's never the career that most people send you towards, right? Like, oh, something in the sports industry. So from there, after doing my mechanical engineering and learning and getting my master's degree in mechanical engineering, I shifted towards fitness after I realized the passion that I have for it and the course that I took that made me a strength and conditioning coach.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, your case just tells a lot about the generational transitions that we're having right now. Let's say back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we had the Industrial Revolution. So it's all about being an engineer or a doctor, right? And that pretty much got, transcend all the way to us. But now, as our generation right now is shaking up from revolution to more into AI and technology. So having fitness, mental health, and all that right now is a priority. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
We need you. We need you. So tell us more about your fitness programs.
So basically how I generally started is like every other fitness professional. I learned what I could, and then I adapted based on the results I saw for my clients, and then also what I learned through the direction of coaches that inspired me. So a lot of my coaches came from the US, Canada, some from the UK as well, because I love football.
Right.
But from there, I just developed and I tried to expand and learn. And I'm still learning to this day, right? Like,
Amazing.
this is an important thing that most people don't realize. You never stop growing and learning when it comes to the fitness industry, because everything changes and so many things change so drastically. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now with all that, and you pretty much being literally active, what's the reception of your clients so far?
So what do you mean by reception?
I would say right now, as you bring something new to the market right now with your fitness instructions and all of that, and when they come to you, they feel like it's different.
Yeah.
There's more going on.
Yeah.
So let us know more about that.
So basically how I've created like a completely new system here in Bahrain, actually. So most people don't realize this, but there's mainly two kinds of gyms here in Bahrain, right? Okay. Like, it's mainly the gyms that create group classes, which is like over 10 to 20 people in one class with maybe one coach helping out. And then there's that open gym kind of concept, which is the open gym. You can go whenever you want, and then maybe you can hire a personal trainer to help you to get better with your technique, but eventually you end up spending so much that it's not worth paying for a personal trainer for so long. So I kind of fused those two concepts together. Amazing. And I made what they call semi-private training.
Okay.
So which basically means it's personal training, but in a small group area. Okay. So like no more than 5 people in a space. You get enough attention as a client so that you can actually feel like the coach actually cares about you, understands your needs, understands your injury history, things like that. So that's where I feel like we're pretty unique, because that's all we have. We don't have huge group classes, and we don't have just one-on-one personal training. We decided we're just going to be semi-private, and the timings that we have on our app are just for that. So, and a coach has to always be there for you to come and train.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think you having an engineering background and pretty much being invested in math and physics kind of helped you to think differently as a fitness coach?
Believe it or not, a lot of people used to make fun of me because they're like, oh, you went from engineering to fitness. That's such a random transition. But mechanical engineering in itself had to do a lot with lever arms and like movements and like learning how to be efficient.
Right, mechanical.
Exactly. And it's mechanics of the body here.
Amazing.
So it's so interesting how those mechanics or the mechanics of engineering transition to the mechanics of the body, and how our bodies function very differently than most people realize. It's not just do this, activate this, and it's much more complicated than that. So.
Amazing. You know, you're talking to a person who his mom happens to be a master's degree holder of physics.
Oh, wow.
So now hearing this, I'm like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I mean, a lot of times, like my mom would talk to my sister who is in med school right now, and the physics part over there is just so evident, is how the body has a lot of mechanics going on. So I think you're pretty much unique in the way you've been brought up. It's like, you know, yes, you did have a mechanical engineer background into physics and math, but that helped you a lot in understanding how the body works.
Yeah, absolutely. And it made me more interested in learning more about the body and how it functions and how the skeletal structure moves through muscles and through like the ligaments and the joints, and such an interesting kind of our bodies are really unique and miraculous. Yani, most people don't realize that. So
well, Ed, I am right now getting some goosebumps just hearing you talk about it. It's like I can feel how passionate you are about it. So what are your future plans with all of this right now?
So right now I have my one place. Obviously in the future I would love to expand to different locations and expand the market of people that I get in, because most of the time it's mainly our generation who are wanting to get healthier, to build a foundational strength that will help them play their sports, things like that. But I do want to target like the older generation, the generation who kind of thinks like exercise is for the young, not for the old. But it isn't, right? Like they are the ones who can benefit the most from, especially strength and conditioning, because building that's the one thing that we tend to lose very quickly, which is our strength as we get older. I think every decade we lose a certain percentage of strength and even more power. So that's where you start to notice, start to trip over more often. They don't have the strength to lift their legs up. So the older generation is just as important in helping them understand the importance of fitness in a healthy and functional way, obviously, not go, right?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, like seeing a lot of going on, what's happening, for example, in Japan, and how they make sure that even with the seniors, they pretty much give them certain programs to make sure they actually still have the mobility to carry them on until the age of 90. So you're telling me that I can still have a certain amount of power and strength even up to the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, most of the power and strength that we lose is not due to growing older. It's due to the fact that because we're getting older, we think we should move less. We move less, which makes us lose our strength and power, which is so interesting because it's basically saying we can maintain that. Obviously, age plays a role, right? At the end of the day, but it's not as much as people think. You can build strength and you can maintain your strength and power. I know a fitness coach who was 70 and 80, and he was doing pull-ups and doing kinesthetics and all of these things, and I was like, this guy is like my role model, like where people nowadays are like crouching and like leaning forward. At that age, he's no, he's killing it.
Well, you know what, Ahmed, right now I feel safer and
Yeah.
better that you're around.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'll be 40 soon,
Yeah.
so I think I'm gonna be pretty much.
Congratulations.
Oh well, I don't know. I just
I
kidding.
mean, there's always that time, right, to take advantage of the opportunity to start building on your health and
Right.
working towards a better health and what they call like deep health, right, which is not just physical, right? Let's
Right.
be honest. It's mental, it's emotional, it's environmental. So I try to educate people that it's
Amazing.
not just physical, right? The physical aspect influences the mental can affect the emotional, the environment that you train in. So one of the things that we have in our gym is our environment is key. We want people to feel safe. We want people to feel comfortable. I want people to enjoy coming to the gym because that's the true motivation or the true appeal of training, right? It's not the fact that, because it's tedious at the end of the day if you
Right.
do it for years and years. Yes, you're going to be building strength and it's going to be pushing yourself to the limits, but if you might get bored and it's like, no, I'm going to come to the gym because I know my friends are going to be there and I get to interact with them in a social way while also building on my health, or physical
Amazing.
health.
Amazing. So I
Yeah.
know for a fact, even though, when we go to a gym, I don't have to go compete with younger people. And I know for a fact, Ahmed is there.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
go to him. I can just feel safe, mentally, physically, emotionally, and all that up to the age of 80 and 90.
Yeah, I
Appreciate
have several clients who are in their 50s and 60s.
Right.
And it's so incredible to see how well they develop and how strong they can actually get at that age
Amazing.
when they put their mind into it. And sometimes I'm like,
beautiful.
no, don't do this. It's maybe, like, for me, I always believe I don't want to hurt anyone.
Right,
Like,
right.
that's the number one key thing in my gym.
Right.
Do no harm. But I'm like, hey, no, like, take it easy because I'm worried about his posture or her posture. But then they're so insistent that I can do this.
Because
And
of
they
you,
do
man.
it.
Because
And
of
then
you.
I'm like, you know what? I need to stay quiet.
beautiful.
I believe, like, they need to believe in themselves, and that's great, Yani.
You see what you've done?
Yeah.
You see what you've done, man?
So,
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's amazing. Any last words to your viewers?
No, I'm just grateful to be here, honestly, and to talk about fitness because, again, as you can tell, it is a huge passion of mine. And
Yes.
I love educating people and helping people develop, again, that deep health when it comes to where they want to go in their life and why is it important to them. And that's a very important aspect of things, right? So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Well, really appreciate you, Ahmed. I really
Thanks,
do.
Marat, thanks.
Bahrain does as well. So
Appreciate it.
it's been a great honor having you right here on Bahrain Now.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Most definitely.
Thanks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Ahmed is here all the way to the age of 80 and 90. Don't worry about it. He will be there to help you to get your strength and health together. All that took place with Ahmed right here on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a really beautiful talk and a very interesting one as well. Tonight with us in the studio is a Bahraini talented girl, Haifa Naseeb. She studied her bachelor degree in management from the University of Manchester and a master degree in the global culture contents from the Hankook University of Foreign Studies. She was a volunteer of a Japanese-Korean translation gig for the Bahrain Olympic Committee and the Ministry of Culture. With us tonight is Haifa herself. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Bara. How are you?
Super excited and interested. I mean, again, even though I said it offset, but I'm going to say it on set as well. You are right now in a very interesting place, very impactful. As been mentioned earlier, you've done your Japanese studies, Korean studies, you're in Manchester, so you're a global girl altogether. And right now, as we are, I wouldn't say being bombarded, but we are so right now being exposed to the Korean culture, right? So people like myself, we've been watching anime and US cartoons and all of that. That was my time, right? And then came your generation, and the generation next is the Korean content. So you pretty much came in the position that everybody will be looking up to you. Like, I'm sure my son, if he will see this, like, I want to be a Haifa. That's for sure. But enough with me right now introducing what I think about you, but tell us more about yourself.
My name's Haifa Naseeb. I've just recently graduated from Hankook University of Foreign Studies with a degree in global culture contents. And a lot of people ask me, like, what is global culture contents? Basically, culture content is whatever it is that a country's producing that is cultural. So TV shows would reflect our culture, video games would reflect our culture, even our traditional clothes, our type of fashion, that's all considered culture content. And when we talk about it on a global scale, it's the movement of this, like how it moves to other countries, and then how those other countries respond to it. Do they take it, make it their own?
Right.
So when we talk, for example, about K-pop, comes from American pop. And then Koreans took it and they decided to make it their own. So first of all, it was all mimicking, and then giving it their own flavor. And now they're sort of the leaders in the pop industry in the world.
Much.
With BTS, of course, you know.
Ooh, do I? Do I? Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people think like, oh, did this happen accidental? Why is everyone suddenly obsessed with Korea? It is not accidental at all. In 1993, the first Jurassic Park came out, right?
Right.
The Jurassic Park movie grossed more money than all of Hyundai's exports at the time.
How crazy is that?
And Korea was like, we got something here. We need to do something about this.
Okay.
So they've decided to establish the Korean Creative Culture Content Agency.
Interesting.
And basically what they do is they talk to all the studios, all these up and coming creators, and they help them put their content, they support them logistically, practically, financially, and they help them export it out because they know people want content. And Korea is just like, we'll make content, we'll make it good, and you are going to watch it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. They made sure that happens, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think as a consumer, but you're not as an academic.
Yeah.
The first time I think what happened is pretty much going to, I would say, Sogun Magaslis, and there's like all of a sudden we see a lot of Korean movies and TV series over there. But then when Psy came in with Gundam style,
Yeah.
that blew up.
Yep.
All of a sudden now everybody wants to do the Gundam style dance and sing to that. But that was just the start. But from your perspective, what happened? How did it become a global phenomenon?
Basically, Korea wasn't too greedy at first. They were like, we're not going to go global immediately. They were targeting the majority of Asia. So basically, Asian people, they want to see themselves on TV. We watch American TV shows. This is the same reason why Arabic TV shows are successful. We want to see ourselves on TV, our stories being told.
Right.
So Koreans were creating that Asian kind of story, and their quality is really good.
Oh, yeah.
And there was response. And then it came across the world, so a lot of cultures responded to it because it's very different from how America presents TV shows and music. It's a little bit cleaner, it's a little bit more culturally acceptable. Especially like, you know, K-dramas, in our culture, we're conservative. We want to see something that's sweet, that's nice, that has the big element of family. So that was really successful. And then, of course, the main thing is access.
Okay.
So you're from the generation that likes Japanese stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my thing was, you know, Kingdom Hearts, listening to Utada, I forgot her name, Utada Hikaru, yeah. Megumi Hashibara. I mean, it was anime all the way. Cowboy Bebop, the anime, not the Netflix thing, but I need to watch it as well. So pretty much like you said, yeah, I was more of an anime kind of
Yeah, and
person.
the reason we watched anime was you open the TV, there's someone speaking in Arabic, and there's anime.
Yeah.
We didn't even know it was Japanese back
I
then.
never knew that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, Arabs make really good cartoons. We're amazing, aren't we? Right? And now Koreans were like, we're going to give you access to it. So they've put their shows on Netflix, they've put them on TV shows, they've made them available online through a lot of ways. The problem is that Japanese stuff is no longer as accessible. Getting access to J-pop and that kind of stuff is not as easy as getting access to K-pop, right? So basically, it's about creating access to this content.
Okay.
And I really think that Korea has really nailed it. They've just signed another deal with Netflix, a whole bunch of channels. They're going to be bombarding us with a ton more dramas. They bring their artists here. We have concerts all over the Arab Gulf from Korean idols. We have restaurants opening up left and right. So it's all about access. If people see something in front of them, they'll try it. And if they try it and like it, they'll continue coming back for it.
Amazing. I mean, the way you talk about it's like you did put your work into it. What got you into this kind of studies?
So basically, I really liked cute stuff. Kawaii. I really loved kawaii. Kawaii was it for me, you know? And like kawaii, not just like dressing up and being pretty. Like kawaii is a concept. Kawaii started as a culture of girls embracing being girls and rebelling against society telling them to grow up.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I loved it. It's like, you know what, I can like pretty things. Just because, I go to work doesn't mean I can't dress cute, I can't wear pretty things. And this culture that I got into, I started consuming Japanese content. And when I got hungry for more, I started consuming Korean content. And I sort of found myself in the middle of studying the language and getting more into it. Like, what is it about it that's so good? Why do people like this so much? Why do I like this so much?
Right.
And you just sort of get into it and you find yourself realizing that it's just really good quality stuff that speaks to you on a basic level. Kawaii speaks to you on the basic thing, be your true self. It's such a basic thing, right? And it's like everyone wants to be kawaii. You listen to animes like Sailor Moon. The girl's prettiest when she's herself.
Oh, wow. Yeah. My daughter loves Hello Kitty. I have a feeling it will be the case until she gets married. When she has kids, I still want my Hello Kitty jacket. Wow, this is very interesting. But the thing is that you actually took that leap, went to study the entire culture and all of that. Like I said earlier, I think right now you're in a position where you will be the person who can translate what's happening with the generation right now with the BTS or Korean K-pop to us, and how can we make the most out of it. Now, my question to you, even though it could be a little bit, I would say a lot, but maybe let me know what you think. How can we make the most out of it here in Bahrain when it comes to the Korean culture?
Well, a lot of countries, what they want to do is just bring stuff in.
Right.
My main dissertation was about how Korean and Japanese people are interested in our culture. They want to learn Arabic. In 2018, the Korean PSAT, like the university entrance exam, the most popular language was Arabic.
Interesting.
There's so many of them, Korean and Japanese people, coming to this region, and they wear thobes, they wear abaya, they want to eat like us, they want to go to the desert, they sit and read Arabic poems. They want our culture. And what we need to be doing right now is, besides being consumers, is start being exporters.
Exporters of the culture.
Yeah, our culture, it's nice, it's cool, like nowhere else in the world that we're still wearing our traditional clothes on a daily basis. You've got the whole desert nomad culture. There's something very peaceful about it in a fast-paced world. Korea and Japan, everything moves super, super fast. And here, we take the time to relax, have a karak, sit in the desert, have conversations. They love it. They come here and they're like, I want to go to the desert and have a tea and talk. It's like, you can talk back home. And like, no, it's different here.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, for you to say that right now just reminded me of Mansour from in UAE right now, a Japanese guy who opened up an Instagram account and he speaks fluent Arabic.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like how he, just like you said, he devoured the Khaliji culture and all of that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you would think about it, why we always look up to Japan and Korea, and it's like, why would you abandon that to come here? It's pretty awesome here too. And we don't realize it that well. Wow. So what we should be doing is showing the world, hey, you guys, come here, take a look at it, see the stuff we have. Ministry of Culture in Bahrain is working super hard on a lot of projects. The Big Pearling Trail project was a huge success. I've just published a paper that was in a Swiss journal about how that was a whole project that revived the entire area and brought back the culture there. Same project is being planned on a better scale for Souk Manama. We have a whole ton of people getting into culture content creation. So the Olympic Committee is getting into esports now. So they know how big this is.
Totally. And
they want people into it. We've got a lot of Arab creators getting on YouTube. What we need to do is all of us now work as a community together.
Amazing, amazing. One thing for sure right now, it seems maybe in the future we'll be very busy, and when it comes to the multi-billion money-making machine of exporting culture, we're going to see Haifa right now as the CEO of it. I'm sure of that, definitely. Any last words to your viewers?
I just want to say, a lot of people ask me, how did you start studying Korean and Japanese? How did you get there? Just start. Just start, just get into it. You work hard, you push in through. Learning a different language is one of the best things you could ever do. You'll meet new friends, you'll learn a new skill, and you'll open a whole horizon of new opportunities.
Beautiful, and you are a living example for that. Haifa, this has been a great pleasure and honor having you with us right here on Bahrain Now.
Thank you so much for inviting me tonight.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say more? Haifa Naseeb with her amazing, impactful talk about culture. All that took place right here on Bahrain Now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the finish line. A huge thanks to all of our guests for joining us tonight, and another big thanks to all of you watching us at home. As always, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below. We love hearing from you. This was Bara Abdallah. Until next time, Bahrain, goodbye and God bless.